Welcome to today's deep dive. What if true peace isn't, found on a quiet beach, but actually in the center of a really violent spiritual collision?
Yeah, it's a pretty intense thought to start with.
Right. Today our mission is to look at a May 12th devotional message by Pastor Huzi Kang, and he draws heavily on the writings of theologian John MacArthur. We're going to explore their biblical definition of peacemaking, and really where they claim it actually comes from.
And it's a definition that, honestly, it completely rejects our modern wellness culture. I mean, if you're listening to this and thinking you just want a quiet weekend without your phone.
Like most of us do.
Right, exactly. But the authors actually argue that seeking a perfectly calm environment is the wrong approach entirely. They claim genuine peace is forged through profound hardship.
Okay, let's unpack this, because it really flips our default setting upside down. We usually think of peace as this perfectly calm, quiet room, but this source defines it more like, being in the eye of a hurricane.
That's a great way to put it.
You're utterly grounded while total chaos just swirls around you. So, if true peace isn't just a calm environment, where do we actually find it?
Well, the text points out this really fascinating paradox. People living in incredibly comfortable, wealthy environments, they actually often fail to find genuine peace.
Really? Why is that?
Because they rely on fleeting circumstances, things like status, money, or even just physical health to stay calm. And when those external things wobble even a little bit, the peace just vanishes. The authors argue the peace that passes understanding is discovered during intense struggles, tears, and frustration.
Wow.
Because according to the source, that is when God is closest to the believer.
I mean, I have to ask you to consider this perspective, because, what does this all mean for someone going through a tough time? Is the source suggesting that suffering is actually a prerequisite for this kind of peace?
It's a really tough question. But what's fascinating here is that they aren't saying suffering is some magical formula you should go out and look for.
Right, don't go seeking out a crisis.
Exactly. It's more about how worldly peace relies on those fleeting things we mentioned. While true peace is an internal anchor provided by God during adversity, when intense struggle strips away our illusion of control, it forces a surrender.
So the peace isn't the absence of the storm, it's the anchor holding you in it.
Yes.
And to understand how this internal anchor works, the source says we have to look at its origin point, which is the cross. But, reading the text, the cross sounds like the furthest thing from peaceful.
Oh, it absolutely does. The text paints a picture of a violent collision between humanity's anger and God's justice.
Yeah, it was brutal.
Very. It describes mockery, thunder, earthquakes, and the literal tearing of the temple veil, which in this context symbolizes the violent shattering of the barrier keeping humanity separated from God.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting. Because modern culture often treats religion as, just a source of blessings or good vibes. But wait, the source insists you must be co-crucified with Christ. To gain this ultimate peace, your old self and its sinful nature essentially have to die first.
Yeah, that's the core of it. According to the authors, this is about fundamentally destroying the ego. Your old self is the part of human nature that's inherently self-serving.
The part that wants to be in charge.
Right, the part at war with divine authority. You can't just negotiate with it. To get the peace the text describes, you have to actively surrender that ego. Only after that death can what the text calls sanctification occur.
And sanctification, just to clarify for everyone listening, that's the ongoing process of the Holy Spirit making a person holy from the inside out, right?
Correct. So the source views true peacemaking not merely as conflict avoidance. It's not just biting your tongue to keep the peace with a neighbor.
Right.
It frames it as a total spiritual rebirth resulting from that internal surrender.
It fundamentally redefines the whole concept then, shifting peace from just a lack of external arguments into a really profound internal holiness and reliance on divine strength.
And MacArthur issues a stark warning about lacking that divine anchor. Without God, the text argues, people lose their sense of shame over their actions.
They lose their moral compass entirely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they simply absorb whatever behaviors and morals happen to be popular in the culture around them.
Which brings us right back to you, listening right now. In our modern, everyday quest to avoid conflict and just stay perfectly comfortable, it leaves you wondering, have we simply mistaken emotional numbness for true peace?
It's a heavy question.
It really is. Something for you to mull over the next time you're trying to weather a storm.